And we are rolling. So, at Philadelphia, what is a good word, my man?
Philadelphia 19 is my bad on a mistake. So, Philadelphia 19, I'll be making mistakes, man. I gotta, my son helps me out with this stuff. So Philadelphia 19 is on
Philadelphia
all,
19. Okay.
yeah, on all handles right there. Philadelphia 19. All right.
Hey, so we got a lot to cover in a short period of time. So
Yes.
we may as well just get right to
get
it. But
into it.
Before we do that, how the heck was your week?
My week was good, man. I have no problem, man. How was your week, brother?
It was pretty outstanding. Pretty
that.
outstanding. We got this going. We're gonna put this thing out, and
Yeah.
I think everyone's going to enjoy it because there's a lot that we're going to tackle on episode 2 of the Always Offended podcast. We're gonna lay this out for you here real quick. What we're gonna be discussing, why the heck you're gonna want to watch, why you're gonna want to listen. So sit tight because we're gonna get at it right now. One of the first things we gotta talk about Trump getting COVID, whether or not he did or he didn't. That's one thing. Then we're getting into the COVID numbers. You do not want to miss this. We're going over the actual COVID numbers, the death rates. You got the CFR. You have the IFR, which is actually symptomatic and asymptomatic. We're going to be talking about that, of course. The Tennessee Titans, the NFL, what the deal is with that. Trump taxes. Now, we weren't on a week ago, but I do need to talk about the tax thing. And Chuck, I'm sure there's a lot you want to discuss there as well. Hillary, we got to get all that dropped. All of that recently dropped, where they're making up the entire Russia collusion deal. And that's a fact, everyone. In case you didn't know, that's a fact. She made it up. There is no Russian collusion. You can say whatever you want. It's a fact. So go shit in your hat if you think it is. It's a fact. According to multiple intelligence agencies, there's 17. There's 17 agencies that Trump said that he colluded with Russia, and that was not even true because I don't even think there's 17. But yet the Democrats said that there were 17 on that deal. Okay, Chuck, we're gonna try and get through all of this. There is, of course, and I want to get to this. The Libtard of the week. There's also other topics that we didn't get a chance to talk about last week. Voter suppression, ballot harvesting, under-resourced communities, which I know, Chuck, you want to talk about the private versus public schools, the racial divide, the money divide, all that fun stuff. So, and then if we have time, we're going to get to the barbershop stuff. Did you go this week?
Oh, every Saturday morning, brother.
Okay, let's get right into this shit here. All right, so Donald Trump, President Trump got COVID. First and foremost, what are your thoughts? Did he actually have it or did he fake it?
That's an interesting point. That's an interesting view. I just wasn't surprised. Okay. I'm like, okay, if the traveling as much as he does and just if anybody, you're probably going to get, it's just like, if you want to compare it to the flu, much traveling you're going to do, you're going to probably get sick. Okay. So he gets it. I wasn't surprised, but he has the best doctors in America. Like, I think he's going to be okay. Okay.
Yeah, you work in a medical field, right?
I work in a medical field. I'm around the 4th floor at the main hospital that I'm at all the time. It's a COVID floor. I'm fine. I'm not saying it's wishy-washy. It's a hocus pocus. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, I think we don't have to panic over it like we are doing right now with schools, with everything. I just think it comes down to a legality thing. I think that's why people are pausing, like, oh, we can't do this, we can't do that, because I don't want to get sued.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point, because America is based on who the heck is going to sue whom, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I understand that side of things too, and we're going to talk a little bit about the schools. Hopefully, we can we'll have time to get into that, and to your point, the legalities of everything and why kids can go back to school, why they can't, and this and that. And we don't have all the numbers as it pertains to COVID, but what we do have are CDC numbers directly from the CDC, which we're going to get into in just a minute. But so Trump made it through, right? Surprisingly, Trump made it through. He was fine. Here's the funniest thing. He said, and he came out, I feel better than I did 20 years ago after he had COVID. And I was sitting there laughing and all that. When you saw that, what were your thoughts?
I did the same thing. I was like, he plays to his opportunities, and he's good. He's great at it, man. He is great at his opportunities and jumping in people's face, and he don't give a damn. So,
No.
I said he would do that, man. I said, look at this dude.
And
man.
everyone, and there was, a lot of people on the left are like, you should die. I need you to die.
Yeah.
President Trump, you need to die right now. I hope you die. I hate President Trump. And by the way, look, you don't have to like someone. I wasn't a fan of President Obama based on his policies. Okay. Right. Now we need to be able to separate the two.
Correct.
Trump is a different breed. And when I watch him, I think it's comedy half the time.
It is.
I think where the left has gotten lost is they've tried to overthrow him since the day 19 minutes after he got elected. That's when they started with the whole Russia bullshit, right? And then everyone started believing all the hype. And we know the Russia stuff, which we're going to get into, is BS. The Ukraine stuff. You can Kavanaugh trying to get him, like, it's just insane. It is insane. And now with the 25th Amendment thing, we're going to talk about that in a few moments. But Chuck, the level of insanity with these people, and if you don't understand it, that the people on the left have been trying to, with all their might, trying to get the president out of office. They have to get him out because he's evil. It's not about him being evil. He's just not a part of the whole globalist regime, okay? He's not a New World Order person. And if you want to understand more about the New World Order, all you have to do is search George Herbert Walker Bush. He talked about this back in the late 80s, early 90s. A New World Order wouldn't be prudent. These are all the globalists, okay, talking about this. Everyone needs to fall in line. Trump is not that person. Maybe he was at one point, but he is not now. I went completely off topic because that's what I do, Chuck. I want to rein it back. Sorry. I want to rein it back. What are your thoughts on Regeneron, what Trump took? Have you heard about that?
I didn't get a chance to read a lot about it, but I think for Regeneron, good for them. Obviously, in their company, because it seems like
that's the pharmaceutical that Trump took. He said it's. And I quote, he said, I call that a cure. I'm not sure what company came out with it, but there's a bunch of those that are coming out here in the near future that's supposed to be a therapeutic.
Right.
But I mean, you're in the medical field. What do you think about, Trump going in? I take Regeneron, and all of a sudden I'm 20 years younger.
Hey man, if you, again, take advantage of your opportunities, if you the president of the free world of America, you have all the power. So, one of the things is you get to choose what do you want to take. Absolutely take advantage of it, man. And if you want to tell people about it because he's a businessman on top of it, take advantage of your opportunity. And that's what he did. And obviously it worked out for him. I think a lot of people was pissed about it. Like, why you got to talk about it? I mean, whatever, shoot, it wasn't that big a deal to me. I think.
So he also talked about, he wanted to make it free for everyone, Regeneron and some of the other quote unquote therapeutics, because it works so well for him, and he's in the high risk category because
correct.
I don't know, in the last year it looks like Trump maybe put on 50 to 100 pounds. We know he likes fast food, and all the people on the left are like, oh, maybe he will die because he is so out of shape. And shame on you for thinking that, because that's such BS. I understand with your ideology and you being brainwashed that you want the guy to die. And by the way, again, I need to point this out every time. Before Trump ran for president, majority of the time, he was a Democrat, supported Democrats like Chuck Schumer, Hillary Clinton, Warren. The list goes on and on. Everybody wanted a picture with Trump. There's not one person in America that no one would say that they did not want a picture with.
Rappers used to rap about being with Trump. Okay. It's clear. You go back 10 years, rappers talked about being like Trump and being with Trump. I'm the black Donald Trump. That all the rappers talked about it. I mean, it is clear in a lot of rap lyrics, and I'm like, oh, okay. What are y'all thinking now? You made the rap. What do you think now? You know, I would love to get some of their opinions of that. You know, but it's a different topic. Let's stay on topic, right?
What do you think about Trump saying it's going to be for free?
Um, I don't know. I think if I was the maker of it, would I want it for free? I'm thinking business. I'm like, well, you know, I want to. If I made it, I want to get some money off, get some scratch off
Or
of
did
this.
they make a deal? Hey, you say whatever you
I don't
want
know.
before the election.
That's
right?
true. That's true.
And then after and look, everyone, just so you're aware, myself nor Chuck, and I don't want to speak for Chuck, but we both are not fans of both parties. We both think there's a lot of corruption on each
1,000%.
side.
1,000%.
And what we want to do with this podcast is just talk about some of the issues, some of the things that are going on, lay out some facts, have a conversation, a little bit of opinion, and you guys decide from there. You can say we're idiots or not, we hate you, we're offended, we're not offended, whatever. But at the end of the day, this is kind of what it is, and we're going to question some things that the president does, and we're going to question some things that some of the other people do as well, right?
Yeah.
Chuck, is that fair?
Absolutely, 1,000%. I think if hypothetically, if the other person that ran for president would have won the last election, we would have been on that person as well. And you know, I'm not even gonna say that person's name because don't care for that person too much. So, you know.
Well, we're gonna talk about her in just a few. Okay, so Trump did what he did, trying to make it free. We'll see. We'll definitely see what happens with that. I want to talk about.
If I made it real quick,
go ahead.
If I was the person that made it and they gave me a nice deal on the side, I'm cool with making it free. But as long as I'm getting something out of it, I'm cool with it.
I'm good with that too.
Yeah.
As long as no one's getting hurt, right?
True.
As long as no one's getting hurt and we're helping people, good with that. I want to make sure we preface that.
Absolutely, 1,000%.
You guys do this, you say this, you're promoting this, that, and okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, so COVID. We're sticking with COVID. We're just moving into some of the case fatality rates, which is CFR. Yep. And one of the things that I do want, and I'm going to read this, Chuck. I want to read this out here real quick. CFR. The number of deaths by number of diagnosed, that's CFR, okay? Yep. So CFR is the total number of deaths divided by the total number of people that have the disease's symptoms. In contrast, IFR, this is a big one. IFR is the total number of deaths divided by the total number of people that carry the infection. So my interpretation of that is that's cases.
You're absolutely right. That's number of cases.
We're not doctors, everybody.
No,
we're not
definitely
doctors.
not.
We're not
epidemiologists.
We're not even Dr. Fauci, who tells the truth all the time.
Of course.
Okay, so what I want to get into right here, and Chuck, I want after I read off these numbers, I definitely want your feedback here. Okay, so the CDC, according to the CDC, you can look it up on their website, and it's in multiple articles on the internet. All you have to do is look this stuff up. So, excuse me, the IFR, symptomatic and asymptomatic, okay? Values of COVID-19 into age-specific estimates. Now, I don't think a lot of you are going to believe this, but this is according to CDC. Believe whatever the hell you want. Chuck, 0 to 19. Age 0 to 19. Here's what it is. Death rates. 0.00003. So there's 4 zeros and a 3. 0 to 19. And you're wondering why can my elementary school kid go to school and then my middle school or high schooler cannot? I don't know.
Absolutely.
Some might say, Chuck, people are idiots.
Are
That's
they?
all that I'm saying.
I didn't know that.
Age 20 to 49. Okay, this is death rates. IFR, symptomatic, asymptomatic. 0.0002. 3 zeros and a 2. Utah, give me 2. Age 50 to 69, a lot of people's favorite number. Points, 005. 2 zeros and a 5. No Utah, give me 5. That's just a 5. Okay, 70 plus. The most high risk people like Trump.
Seniors.
Okay,
Yep. Seniors. Yep.
Here's the deal. 0.054. 0.054. So Chuck, you hearing those numbers, what are your first thoughts, reactions?
Yeah, let me start with, because people are idiots, right? We start with saying whoever lost their loved ones to this disease, I apologize, and I don't want anybody to lose their life for this, okay? But when you look at the numbers, I don't understand why kids can't be in school. Again, it comes back to the legality of it. If they just came out and said the reason why we don't want kids in school because we don't want to get sued, I would probably be like, okay, y'all finally being honest now. Finally. Yeah. Because, again, unfortunately, if one of those kids gets sick and something happens, the whole city of wherever it's at is getting sued. And that's why they freaking out and said, we can't have it, we can't have it, we can't have it. I just think the media has turned this into a bigger deal than what it actually is, in my opinion. Because I know the next topic we was going to compare it to the seasonal flu. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, why is the flu not a bigger deal versus COVID-19?
When we have a vaccine.
Correct. So
no vaccine for COVID.
Right.
Yet.
Allegedly.
What we do for the flu.
What we do for the flu. But I just think if you want to be cautious, then you should go ahead and be cautious. If you're a senior, if you're 70 and you're saying, listen, I can't roll out, I can't go to these places, then I definitely understand, and that's your choice. But if you're a college student, a high school student, it should be business as usual. And if you're in your 20s, it should be business as usual. And we are really letting this affect our economy so bad that people are losing jobs, houses, a lot. I mean, it's unbelievable over something like this.
So Chuck, the 0 to 19, and I'm gonna say this again. The death rate here. This is IFR, symptomatic and asymptomatic. I didn't make this up. Don't tell me I made this up, because I did not. If you don't believe me, go do some freaking research on your own. 0 to 19. 0.0003. That's all of our children. Okay.
Yeah.
All of them fall within that category. And Chuck, last I checked, our kids are under the age of 18, right?
Yes. Absolutely it is.
It's kind of insane, but that's the way it goes. So you mentioned the seasonal flu. The flu, 0.01%.
Yeah.
So what's worse?
It's clear the flu is worse. I mean, it's clear.
Dr. Fauci said 0.1. That's 0.1%. Okay. Yeah. That's way higher than 4 zeros and a 3 for kids.
Yeah.
And yet we're still not in school.
Yeah, still not in school. And you said your kids go back in January. My kids will start to go back next week. But I mean, come on, man. This is unbelievable that we got to be out like this for kids. I have a first grader. You think they like being on a damn computer all day? No. They got to be active. They got to be doing other things. They got to be with other peers. And guess what? When kids get together for school, guess the first thing what happens to them? They get sick. They get sick. Right?
That's
they get
so
sick.
True.
They get sick and they get some medicine, they get over it, and they back to business.
Yeah, and then they bring it home. Then everyone gets sick.
Right. And we typically fight it off. So, I mean, it's going to be a lot of freaking out around here. I can only imagine when a kid gets to come home sick. It's there's a level of insanity. And again, we are not doctors. We are not scientists. We are not epidemiologists, okay? We're doctors as well. So
go F yourself if you're.
Oh, wait, they're doctors
Allegedly.
too.
Allegedly, doctor.
So here's the deal: 70 plus, high risk, whether they have underlying health conditions or not. Just 70 plus, fair enough. Okay, it is with the flu too.
Yeah.
0.054. The flu 0.1. I was no math major or mathematician, but the 0.1 is worse.
Yes.
Okay.
You're not doing it right.
Okay. All you have to do is ask this simple freaking question. How many people do you know that have died from COVID? Was COVID the main cause of death?
Well, I know 3 or 4 people that someone else told me that they knew.
Okay. Did they actually die from COVID? Or was it something else? Or did they just put that on the death certificates? Now, Chuck, I don't know if you've had conversations with some of the doctors you work with, but what are they saying about the death certificates and as it pertains to COVID?
I think most of them were just saying the same thing. They're saying, did they really die from COVID? Did COVID have something to do with them getting ill? Maybe, but did they really die from COVID? And there's another underlying thing. And I don't know if this is true or not because I don't have the facts in front of me. So I'm just speaking. I was told that because of federal disaster stuff, if these hospitals are saying that, hey, we had 20 deaths from COVID, they get money for it.
I know. And you just froze right there.
Oh, did I?
No, you're good. You're good. By the way, I just sent you a message. You need to read that.
Hey,
anyway,
man, I have to. I have to.
We need to talk about the Tennessee Titans and the COVID.
Let's do it real quick. Hey, so obviously the Tennessee Titans had to postpone their week 4 matchup, if I'm correct, with the Pittsburgh Steelers because a few of the Titans tested positive for COVID. Okay. And then so obviously they didn't play that game. And then they shut down the team facility because of COVID. The Titans did. And they couldn't practice. They couldn't do anything. So what some of the players did on the side, now I'm laughing because we probably would have did the same thing back when we were that age. We would have did the same thing. They held workouts on their own, unbeknown to the team, as the team said we didn't know they were doing this, which I don't quite believe that because they know everything you're damn doing. They went to a private high school here locally, and the quarterback threw with his receivers and doing all this. And then the DBs went to a university on their own, and they were working out. And, of course, everybody has iPhones now. They saw them. They took pictures of it. So the NFL is furious about that because some of those players who didn't test positive for COVID before the facility was shut down come back, and they test positive. So that they was like, clearly you guys practice on your own when you were told not to, and you come back and test positive. So that Bills game that was supposed to be tomorrow was postponed to Tuesday, which to me, I think they should have made the Titans forfeit, but they won't. They will never do that because it's a money issue. It all comes back to money, Sully.
So why do you think they should forfeit?
Well, because the NFL told them not to practice. Okay, now the whole COVID thing, I think they're fine. I think they still should let them play. That's just my opinion. But, the media want to hear, hey, what's your opinion? What's your opinion on this? I said, well, if you were told not to do it and you do it and you jeopardize a game, then, that's on you. That's not on the Bills. That's on you. We told you not to do it. You did it anyway. You got your guys testing positive. Why'd you do that? Okay. Oh, it's your fault. It's not the Bills' fault. It's your fault. Because they played the Minnesota Vikings the week before, and none of them tested positive. So you could probably play with COVID and not get your guys you're playing positive. Exactly what happened. So, I mean, my thing is, you come back here to Nashville. I'm around the team doctor every Friday, FYI. He didn't test positive. I'm like, so.
Oh, you're around the team doctor every Friday.
Every Friday, I'm around the Titans team doctor. He the facility that I work at. We do business together. He's a good dude. We laugh and joke all the time. We talk about the COVID testing. He's a real scientific dude. So if you talk COVID with him, I mean, you're really, you're gonna get on the deep end with some scientific stuff. So I don't think on that level, but he does. It's great.
And so what based on, your conversations, what has he said to you about COVID and the risks? I'm really
Oh,
curious.
he's like us. He's like, listen, I think for these young athletes, I think they'll be fine. He's like, he's in the 60s. He's like, basically with me, I'm more of a high risk than those guys. These are young, phenomenal athletes. They should be fine. So that was his thing. But then again, he's, it's like anything. When you catch something, it might affect. You're not gonna catch the same thing. It might affect you differently than
Of course.
It's just the way it is. So, that's just the way it is.
Like the flu.
Yes, like the flu.
You never know how it's going to affect you. And a lot of this, and this has been brought up about CTE too, because you've seen cases of CTE in kids that are 18 years old, right?
Yes.
And so at the end of the day, is that because they've had a lifetime of pounding to the head? Yeah, maybe. Or is it genetics? Like,
maybe.
If you're 18 and you're getting it, and there's some people that, maybe not till, they're 40, 50 years old, whatever. That's a big difference, right? So to me, and again, I'm not a doctor, I don't study all this stuff, but it sounds like that could be more genetic or genetics related.
Hey man, I know. I apologize, man. Cuss me out later, but
you're good.
They're killing me, man. They're killing me. They want to go. Go ahead and cuss me out right now. Cuss me out later. Cuss me out.
Can we get that? Let's put that on the podcast.
Yes, do it. Please do. I have to go. I have my daughter is turning 7. I have a birthday party I need to get to. We can put all this on.
Hey, well, go, Chuck. Go enjoy. I'm gonna go over some of this other stuff real quick. We'll be back in just a minute.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And we are back. Welcome, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is episode 2, the continuation. Right now, Chuck had to get rolling. Kids' birthdays. We got to go celebrate those. A few more topics that I do want to discuss. One of which are the Trump taxes that came out just a short while ago. And people were losing their minds about Trump and, he only paid $750, whatever it was, for a year, or whatever it is, this and that. And look, I think everyone needs to understand, and I'm sure most of you do, if you're an American and you start a business, you run a business, there's certain benefits that you have from the IRS, okay? Trump didn't make up these tax codes that have been in place for years, okay? Now, there are the Trump tax cuts that he did, okay, just a few years ago. Those were implemented. But he didn't create the IRS. He didn't create that tax code. Now, the tax code is set up for people that are business owners. And if you're a business owner, you're able to do certain things that you're not when you're a full-time employee. And I really don't understand why a lot of you people don't fucking get that. No risk, no reward. Who the fuck wants to pay taxes? Nobody wants to pay taxes, but we do it because we live in this country and we do. So your whole job when you're working is to try and get out of taxes. And if you say that you don't try and get out of paying the fucking taxes as it pertains to your income, you are full of shit. Estate tax, whatever tax, they're trying to get rid of that too. You're full of shit. Your whole goal, and you brag to people about it. Don't tell me you don't. You're bragging to people. Well, I didn't have to pay tax on this, tax on that. I didn't have to do this. Guess how much back I got on my fucking taxes? And yet you're giving the president shit about doing what he does and doing it well. Why don't you get that? If you took the same approach by being an entrepreneur, small business owner, you would get some of the same benefits. It's in the tax code. Look it up. Joe Biden's been in there for 47 fucking years. Hillary's been there for how long? If it was such a problem, they brought this up in 2016. If it was such a problem, why didn't they fucking fix it? Why? Because they themselves are benefiting from this. All these campaign contributions, you think they're getting taxed on all the dollars that land in their bank accounts? It brings up another point here. Politicians go in office for the first time. A lot of them, whatever. They do all right, but they leave office multimillionaires. Why is that? Okay. The system's corrupt. Yeah. There's corruption on every level, almost every level of politics. And again, if you don't understand that, do some fucking research. That's all I have to say. Chuck would say the same goddamn thing. All these people, when they get in, I firmly believe that they have a clear mind, they have a clear heart, and they're looking out to do the right thing. They're trying to do the right thing. But on some level, either they get blackmailed or some other shit fucking happens, and they're owned. And it happens to all of them. And the Trump people obviously see behind me, on some level, yeah, that's probably the case too. I'm not that naive either. Like, you get into that, you can't get into the office of the presidency without having something. Okay. Now, if you people don't understand, Trump's not a fucking saint. Biden's not a saint. He's a fucking hair sniffer. And if you haven't seen those videos about him groping the kids, then just YouTube it. It's on YouTube. Now, when you go on YouTube, it's going to say that YouTube is watching you for watching this video, which you didn't produce, but yet it's up there. Okay. They're going to say that they're watching, or they're checking that you're watching this video, but it's pretty disgusting. It's pretty disgusting. And this is a person who's running against Trump, and no one's perfect. America's imperfect. Yeah, no shit, it's imperfect. No country's ever been perfect. Ever. And if you think it is, you're fucking insane. I really don't know what to tell you at that point. None of these people are perfect angels. And if you think they are, you're dumb as shit. You are dumb as shit. I'm sorry to say that. Am I the smartest fucking person? No, I am not. Talk to my family, talk to my friends. Am I the smartest person? No. Somehow I find a way to get shit done. I don't know how that fucking happens. I just do. And I love people, and I love helping people. But the one thing that I hate the most is someone telling me what to do, especially that someone or government telling me what to do when I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That's why we brought up the fucking COVID numbers. 0.00003 death rate. Again, that's IFR, symptomatic and asymptomatic. 0 to 19 years old. The seasonal flu, 0.1%. What are we talking about here, people? What are we talking about? It's literally crap. Oh, everyone's dying. No one's dying. How many fucking people do you know that have died? Oh, well, little Billy did this, but no, little Billy probably didn't. Now, there's exceptions to every rule. Let me say that. There's exceptions to every rule. But for the most part, not very many people are dying from COVID itself. Oh, well, the death certificate says this. That's part of the 211,000, 12,000, whatever it is now. But how do we know it's from COVID? Have you even asked that question? Do you even know? Hospitals are getting incentivized by doing that. This is the level of insanity that we're kind of dealing with now. And I want to talk about the 25th Amendment here. Nancy Pelosi came out and said, "Oh, well, you just stay here with her mask on. No one's around. You got her fucking mask on." The 25th Amendment, they're going to invoke on the president. And how is this any different from what they've tried to do the last 4 years, which is get him out of office? And to me, the Dems are scared. They're super scared because they know that Trump's going to win, and he's going to win. Minus any super nefarious action by the Democrats in Project Veritas. If you haven't seen that footage from Minnesota, Ilhan Omar's district, dude had hundreds of ballots in his car, tens to hundreds of ballots in his car. I'm going to talk about ballot harvesting in a minute. His job, go around, get all the ballots, then you bring it into the polling center, wherever they need to bring it. Oh, well, Democrat, 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 Democrat. Okay, fine. If you just think about it from a simplistic level and a common sense perspective, it's certainly gonna sink into you. Let me lay this out as far as mail-in ballots, because that's certainly a big issue. And I like to make this point about it. So mail-in ballots to me is like this. You know, when you're in school, you have a teacher, instructor, professor, whatever it is. And the smart ones hand out one test, exam to each student, right? The ones that are like, whatever, they'll eyeball it, and then they'll pass out, whatever amount of exams in a row. And within that row, a lot of times there's always going to be one extra one, right? And so if you know this and you've done research on the exam taking and what happens, I'm not encouraging anyone to cheat. Let me say that first and foremost. But if there's one extra and you have someone that's maybe a little bit better, a little more proficient than you in a particular subject topic, and they happen to be there that day, randomly happen to be there that day, and you bring them out that extra exam because there's one extra one or two, whatever. I got to go to the bathroom, take them out the exam. You take them out the exam, they complete it, right? Then you raise your hand to go to the bathroom again. You take your exam out there, put it next to your buddy. He's got everything right. And then you fill it out. You come back in, then you turn it in. You wind up with an A. Same type of shit. With the ballot harvesting and the mail-in ballots, the same type of stuff can happen because no one really knows how many ballots are being sent out there. Are we going to get those numbers? I would love to see them. RNC, DNC, I would love to see them. The state electoral commission, whatever the hell that's called. If it's that, if I guessed it right, I'm pretty freaking awesome. I would want to know how many ballots are sent out and to whom. Are these people still alive? Do they actually have real social security numbers? Are they sending out duplicates? I don't know. Are you guys asking this question? Because I think about this stuff a lot. I think the Dems, or the Libtards, if you will, are a lot better at some of this stuff. The ballot harvesting. I don't think the Republicans are very good at it at all. We'll see. I don't know. I would like to see a fair election. Definitely a fair election. And if we're going to get that, great. If not, then there's a serious problem. But the ballot harvesting, say, and just to give you an example, here's how this works. So I get hired by the DNC. I'm going to go run out to a certain neighborhood that we know votes Democrat, not Democratic, because they're the last thing from being Democratic. It's just Democrat Party. Okay. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get ballots from 300 people, make sure they get turned in. Now, maybe 10 of those voted for Republicans across the board. You can potentially go through all of these and potentially change the votes in line with what your party thinks. And if you don't believe that this type of shit can happen, then you need to reevaluate what it means or what it is to be human. Because what I believe, and you can say, well, I don't give a shit what the fuck you believe, Matt, and that's fine. What I believe is any human is capable really of anything in any given situation, okay? Anyone is. Now, is that true necessarily for everybody? Maybe, I don't know. It's all debatable, but you got to throw this stuff all up in the air and see what lands. And that's kind of what they're doing with the ballot harvesting. That's their gig. That's their goal. We're going to send a bunch of people out. We're going to get all the ballots. We're going to turn them in. Now, is nefarious stuff happening between the time they get the ballots? They put it in their car. By the way, it goes in their vehicle. Maybe they're Ubering. I don't know. Maybe not, because Gavin Newsom in the state legislature and here in California tried to shut down Uber and Lyft. That's a whole nother goddamn topic. These fucking stupid people. You need to be able to do what you want to do whenever you want to do it, provided you're doing good things. Okay, that's just my thoughts. So that's that rant about all that stuff. And then I mentioned the 25th Amendment, and then I went off on a ballot harvesting. Look, again, they've been trying to get Trump out of office the whole time. What do you expect? They're going to keep doing it. But again, I think they're scared. And that's really why this is in place. Russia was fake. We're going to get into that in a minute. The Ukraine crap was BS. I mean, Biden is on tape, quid pro quo, about the $1 billion loan that they were giving to the Ukraine, and he withheld it. I'm going to get my ass out. You got 6 hours. And I'm sure most of you have seen it. If you're on the left, you probably haven't, because they don't show that stuff. But if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Biden's talking about you got 6 hours. Otherwise, you're not getting the money. You're not getting the money unless you file the prosecutor who was investigating Hunter Biden. Who's Hunter Biden? All of you must know it's Joe Biden's son, who is on the board of Burisma, an energy company in the Ukraine. There's a whole nother deal with him in China. There's a great new documentary out called Riding the Dragon, which I recommend all of you take a look at. So all this crap, and then the Hillary thing, it came out this week, making up the entire Russia collusion. Hillary orchestrated the collusion hoax to distract from her emails. That was really the deal. And this is according to some intel there, right? And if you do not believe me, then frankly, I think you folks need to look up most of that stuff. And that's kind of the problem, is that people are sitting here blindly looking at all of this. And that's really the problem. You're just going to listen to whatever CNN, MSNBC says, and you're not really going to do any research. That's the frickin' problem. Oh, CNN tells me to go jump off a cliff, so I'm going to jump off a cliff. Why the hell would you want to jump off a cliff just because someone on TV told you to fucking jump off a cliff? I don't understand any of this logic. It's beyond insane. It's beyond stupid. So Hillary Clinton personally signed off on the Russiagate farce to distract attention from her email scandal, according to a Russian intelligence analyst that was obtained by U.S. intelligence agencies in 2016. That was a bombshell allegation that the National Intelligence Director, John Radcliffe, has just dropped on the Senate Judiciary Committee. And by the way, this is from Andrew C. McCarthy of the National Review. Say what you want about publications. I'm sorry, I was a journalism major, broadcast major in college, and journalism now is crap. And by the way, Sean Hannity's right. Journalism is basically dead in this country. Where all this is going to go, I don't know. But I think there's one thing that is really evident, prevalent, I should say right now. Prevalent? Did I say prevalent? Chuck, you're not even there. Ask questions. If we could do anything, just ask questions. Raise your hand if you listen or you watch MSNBC. I don't. CNN, no, I don't. I'll turn it on from time to time just to see what these people are saying. Fox, I used to. I really don't watch the news anymore. I can't do it. I can't handle it. Because you really don't know what to believe and what not to believe. In my opinion, the best way to get news is through independent journalists that you find online. And there's a number of podcasts out there that you can turn to, a number of people that are putting things out there every single day. You know, Chuck left. We had the barbershop segment that's out. We wanted to talk about the private public schools. We're going to push it off to next week. By the way, we're going to be pushing out another one of these podcasts here in the next couple of days. Voter suppression. I wanted to get Chuck's take on voter suppression. I haven't experienced that. I'm not sure exactly how that all works. I personally don't understand why everyone can't get an ID and go to vote. Oh, well, we're working 3-4 jobs a day. Okay, I understand that. Why can't you get an absentee ballot? Why can't you get an absentee ballot? Why is that so difficult? Why is it so difficult to get an ID? I don't get it. Not do you need an ID anymore to vote, which is complete nonsense. That's a topic for another day. There's a lot of people that really want Trump out of office. And is it just the Democrats? No. Is it the Chinese? I don't know. Kind of looks like it. All the other globalists? Yeah. And what's the major reason why they want to get him out? Why do they want to get Trump out of office? Why do they want to demonize everyone that may be a Trump supporter? Why do they want to get them? Why does he want to get them out of office? Because Trump's not part of their initiative. Trump's not a part of the globalism. That's why he got us out of the Paris Climate Accord, because the U.S. was wasting way too much money. Way too much money on that. Okay, I'm gonna sum this up here pretty quick. Now there's the Libtard of the week that we're getting to actually right now. Libtard of the week. You guys want to know who this is? Mika Brzezinski, co-host of Morning Joe on MSNBC with her libtard husband, and who's a former Republican, rhino, anti-Trumper, never Trumper, Joe Scarborough, also known as Waldo. Where's Waldo? Where's Waldo? Joe Scarborough, always right there on MSNBC with his wife, who's saying that Trump, maybe he can be guilty of manslaughter if someone else at the White House gets sick and they eventually die as a result of President Trump having a coronavirus. So, Mika, yeah, I understand where you're going with this, and there's probably a few left-leaning lawyers, attorneys, whatever you want to call them, that would find some statutes and whatever to be able to they would be able to file charges. So these prosecutors, left-leaning prosecutor, I'm sure you can find someone to do that. Let's just put that out there. I think that's really absurd, and here's why. Has anyone ever been charged with criminal negligence or manslaughter for transmitting the flu? I don't know. Some of you lawyers out there, send us some messages. Let us know. You're smart. Send all that crap to us. We'll look at it. We'll look up the case files, and we'll see what's what. That's one part. Here's another thing, though, and here's the ridiculous part of this. And how ridiculous this is. Yeah, the president, he had COVID-19. He had COVID-19. He transmitted. When did he know? When did he know? Pelosi's talking about, when did he know? And how many people did he give it to? Okay. How many times have you had the flu and gone to work? How many people did you infect? How many of our own children have gone to school sick and gotten a bunch of other kids sick, and they come home to get all of us sick? How many times that happened? We gonna lock up these kids? No. Oh, well, the flu is different. The flu is different from COVID. Well, you know that COVID is a strain of the flu. And it is. And typically, the newest strain of the flu each year kills around 9,000 Americans. Now, according to the CDC, the 94% that didn't actually die of COVID, that leaves the 6%. So it's around 12, 13% right now. So is it worse? I don't know. We don't even know what the hell they died from. We don't even know what they died from. Was it COVID? Was it something else? Did they have chicken pox? Did they have the measles? Did they have tuberculosis? And they randomly happened to have COVID. You know who also had COVID? George Floyd. He had COVID. Okay. What does that really mean? I don't know. They didn't put that on his death certificate. You know why? Because that would have been stupid. Because some other dude put his knee on his neck for way too long of a time, and that's pretty much why he died, other than fentanyl. And if you don't believe me, go look up that. Go look that shit up. So here's the thing, Mika. Yeah, your kids, they can go to school. They give someone a flu. You're good with that. What if that kid dies of the flu? Should you be held accountable for manslaughter? And how ridiculous this gets. And I'm pointing this out here. So here's where we are. I think Mother Nature should be charged with criminal negligence for all the deaths that she's caused from hurricanes and tornadoes. We all know that tornadoes and hurricanes are coming. We all can predict them, not all of us, but the people on the news, if you will, they can predict all that stuff. And they're killing people. So if we can predict that, isn't that premeditated murder? So Mother Nature is now charged with criminal negligence and premeditated murder for killing a bunch of people. And on top of that, Mother Nature is also racist on all acts of nature that adversely affect Black and brown people. We should protest. We should now riot against Mother Nature because she is discriminating. That's what she does, and that's what she's doing. And I'm certainly going to go out and riot over that. I'm sure Chuck's going to do that because Mother Nature, well, she's not very nice. She's not even a person, but she inflicts a lot of havoc on all of us. There's a lot of other stuff we can get to. We're just not. I wanted to make sure we got to the Libtard of the week. We talked about the COVID stuff. It's just insane with the numbers. And if you don't believe me, please do your own research. It's all over the place. And then start doing your own polls. Ask people, hey, how many people do you know that died of COVID? Oh, well, Aunt Billy did. Shit, someone's name Aunt Billy? Okay, well, that's another deal. Aunt Lorraine died. Okay, Aunt Lorraine died. Did she actually die from COVID? That's all I'm asking. Ask some freaking questions. Ask some questions, see what happens. What if all Americans asked, say 10 people and took the data? You know what? Maybe I'm going to do that. Ask 10. Start with 10, go to 20, go from there. I'm going to get my own data. Why don't we all start getting our own data? If we started getting our own data, we're not going to need all these other idiots trying to tell us what to do and trying to keep us closed down. Well, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about, school districts. Real quick, I'm going to make this brief and get you out of here. Some school districts here in California and across the country, elementary schools are now going back on campus, but junior high and high school are not. Now, we read you the numbers. We read you the numbers about COVID, and the CDC broke it up into this age range, 0 to 19. So as far as I'm concerned, those are all kids, right? And they have them all in the same numbers. 0 to 19, 0.00003. 0 to 19. So why can elementary school kids go back to school and kids in junior high, middle school, high school not go back to school until after the break? Can anyone please explain that to me? Another thing, plexiglass. This is going up all over the place. Another study in which I read, plexiglass really doesn't do very much because it's in the air. It's particulates, if you will, and you need more ventilations, not more ventilators, more ventilation. And that's a critical thing there. So the plexiglass, which I saw in my kids' school district email that came out just yesterday, talking about the plexiglass going to be here for the elementary schools. And like, okay, that's great. I thought that was old news. I thought that was old data, old science. That's why I question all this stuff. Like, question everything. Do I know everything? No. But I want to question everything. Question everything. And if you don't, then that's your own fault. Question it, research it to the best of your ability, and go from there. Now, with that said, everyone, thank you for joining us on behalf of Philadelphia 19. I'm West Coast Sicilian, and we will see you later. Woo!